Good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jason Lehman. I'm the marketing team lead here at Fishbowl Solutions. And today we're going to be talking about how you can increase customer service and support satisfaction by up to 50% with chatbots. I appreciate everyone taking that initial poll question. The majority of the attendees answered. They're looking to deflect some of that FAQ submission, those really simple, frequently asked questions that they receive from customers or maybe their internal employees. So we'll definitely dig in and discuss more of that today. Here's the agenda for today's meeting. I want to make sure we just level set and cover off really what chatbots are, what they can do, the types of chatbots. So we'll start there. But within about 5 to 6 minutes, we're going to jump right into some demos where I'm going to show you some flavors of various chatbots that are being used on Facebook Messenger and some of their capabilities across use cases for customer service and support. We're then really going to dig in and discuss in detail really what are some of those business problems that are driving the use of chatbots today from a customer service and support perspective. And again, I want to mention, we're going to really focus on the external chatbot use case. You know, you're an organization or a business, you have customers, they want to interact and ask you questions, get answers. That'll be the primary use case that we discussed today. But we're also going to talk about internal use cases for chatbots that, again, helps facilitate this customer service support function, where you could look at it as your employee self-service or service to your employees as well. Then make sure to introduce and discuss the technology behind chatbots and really Oracle's market-leading platform with their Oracle Autonomous Mobile Cloud Enterprise platform, as well as how Oracle and Fishbowl partner with really our Atlas chatbot framework and the chatbots we've built out already for that. And then I'll give you another demo towards the end on some of those chatbots we've built using our Atlas framework. We'll take questions at the end, and then with that, I'll cover off some housekeeping items. So this meeting is being recorded, this webinar is being recorded, so anyone that registered will get a link to the recording probably within 1 business day. And then if you have questions throughout the webinar, you can ask those through the Zoom interface by typing them in. So there's you should see a little icon for Q&A. You can type it in there. I'll be monitoring those questions that come in. Any questions that come in, we'll answer them at the end. So why are we here today? We're really here today to help everyone understand what chatbots are and how they could help from a customer service support perspective. And if you really, I think we've all had bad customer service, especially when we're on the phone. We call a company that we've bought a product from or looking to get service from, and you just get stuck on the phone waiting to talk to someone. And a lot of times what you're calling in for could be a very simple request, but you have to wait till you're in this queue and you get that prompt that all agents are busy, please hold the line. So as you consider that user frustration, also consider that the organization you're calling into, those companies, they've set up the infrastructure as well as the human resources to have this customer service support department or call center, and each interaction for them is very expensive. So how can chatbots help augment some of that customer service, traditional customer service from a call-in perspective? How can chatbots help augment some of that today? And as I mentioned, Oracle and Fishbowl are really partnering on this. So we're going to discuss and demonstrate and kind of show how the Oracle Autonomous Mobile Cloud Enterprise system and their intelligent chatbot feature, how we've built out additional capabilities with our Atlas chatbot framework, and how we're really working together to deliver purpose-built chatbots for customer service and support. So to start with, let's just focus on what's a chatbot. And there are two kinds really to break down here. The first one is very task-oriented. So this is very traditional from a customer service and support perspective. Really think of it as that FAQ. You have customers, you have employees, they have questions, and they want to talk to someone, engage with someone to get their question answered. So whatever those questions are, if you consider how they would be asked from a phone conversation or even an email, you can programmatically enter those or develop those with your chatbot to facilitate those question and answer engagements. And that's what really, to help understand what a chatbot is, it's really a computer program. So as I mentioned, programming it to handle the requests that you would expect from your customers, from your prospects, from your employees. But it's that level of conversation that people are looking for. So instead of an email going out or a phone call being made, it can be this conversational user interface to engage with those customers or employees and get their questions answered. So again, that's more task-oriented flavor. Again, that'd be an FAQ example. The other example are more data-driven and predictive chatbots. And the example that I'll share there is one that Larry Ellison at Oracle shared just a couple years ago. This is something that I think everyone understands the example of. You're working for a current organization. Let's say you got promoted or you got a different title or you moved and you want to update your business cards. So the chatbot in this case would be integrated with a back-end HR, HCM system, and you could engage with the chatbot and say, hey, I'd like to order some new business cards. And the chatbot would be able to query, or because of the integration, pull forward all your human resources related information, your new job title, your address, your contact information, and then display that to you from a thumbnail or kind of a proof example right within that engagement dialogue. And so you're interacting with the chatbot, it's pulling forth that information, and you're able to facilitate getting those new business cards printed right within that chatbot interface. So again, the time it would take to turn that around when you compare this example with making a phone call or going into an HCM system and doing a request there could be dramatically reduced. And really, as I'm going to share a little bit later, think of this as kind of that personal HR assistant, which is one of the use cases I'm going to detail. And that could be just an HR assistant for employees to engage with and help them get tasks done. So why chatbots and why now? Why are chatbots popular today? Well, there's a few different factors. So let's start with mobile growth. So I think this is obviously everyone understands this because we all have smartphones, plus we're always on. So just the fact that everyone has these smart devices, they're walking around with them, they can always be connected. The other factor is this notion of app fatigue. So apps aren't going away. I know we all still use apps. I probably have 4 or 5 apps that I use all the time. But if you remember, I think when apps really came out, there was this, oh, that app is so cool, let me download it, I'll use it. And then, over time, you just kind of forget about some of the apps that you have on your phone. You run into a storage issue. There's an update that needs to be applied. And it just kind of becomes hard to manage. So if you notice the stat there, that new apps only retain 3% of the users, or apps only retain 3% of the new users. However, if you look at chat, so consider Facebook Messenger, for example, that is the most used app. And in fact, with Facebook's purchase of WhatsApp, there's about 1 billion people on Messenger today. And they just want to chat. They want to engage with others. And so no different if they're talking to their friends or family, chatting with their friends or family, they really want to do the same thing with organizations and companies they buy products from. And they really want that chat type of interface and engagement where it's very conversational. So that's why, if you consider, as I mentioned, the call center, a lot of call centers within organizations have turned to chat to help again, augment that more traditional call into the call center and ask questions and hopefully get those answered. And that just really speaks to the fact that, you know, we all have mobile devices, we're always connected. We want to engage with people and organizations 24/7, regardless of time or day. We want to engage, ask questions, and get answers. However, I think it's also important to note that chatbots can do a lot. So if you consider some of the examples I've already mentioned where you have more of an FAQ type request where it's very frequent, and these frequent questions that get answered within an asked within an organization. You know, for example, what are the store hours of your favorite coffee shop or something like that. So a lot of those questions can be deflected directly to the chatbot. They can handle those requests. However, there are going to be points in that conversational flow where the chatbot can't do anymore. You're requiring or requesting to talk to an agent to get more specific information on, for example, a loan that you might be looking to take out. Just needs a little bit more of that human knowledge worker ability to get you the right information. But the important thing here is when the chatbot can't compute that request that you're asking or that question, that should be a seamless transition to an agent then. And so as you consider that dialogue flow, you get a certain amount of information from the chatbot, but then it can easily hand you off to an agent to facilitate the rest of the requests that you might have. So with that, as I promised, I'm going to switch over to a demo now. And so I'm going to start with, again, this is Facebook Messenger. These are chatbots built using Facebook. Again, I think it's important to note here, and I'll share this a little bit later, is you don't need Facebook as that channel for your chatbot, but it's obviously a very popular platform to do so. But anyway, the first demo that I want to share is this Metropolis utility spot. So this is really a utility services. You know, we pay our electricity bill. And this could be used to really, you know, ask some questions regarding your power consumption, what's my bill, things like that. So let's just start with what's my bill, or what are my charges? So based on my location, my address, my charges are $120. So again, this could be, you know, also used to let the utility company know that there's a power outage. So I could just come into the chatbot and say there's a power outage, and I could report that. I'm just using the address above. And so if you consider that within 10 seconds there, I was able to report a power outage instead of, you know, being on your phone and calling in, waiting for someone to take your request and make sure that that gets into the system for service out to your location. I was able to do that in 10 seconds. So again, just very simple, straightforward, you know, tasks that you can complete using this type of chatbot. Another chatbot that I wanted to show was this Metropolis City Services bot. So these are really becoming popular within cities and county governments, if you will. And the reason they're being used is to really empower the citizens of a community to take action when they see things that they don't like. So in this example, I'm going to share how you can report graffiti. This could also be like you want to report a pothole or a public restroom that was really dirty or got vandalized, whatever it might be. These are going to be used to help facilitate some of that public engagement and empower them to, you know, take action and report these things. So again, if you consider that if you're a member of a city and you see these things, you know, a lot of the time you might just be like, someone will take care of that. But instead, you could have their app. You could use a chatbot to do that very quickly and get that request into the system. that request from the chatbot could be integrated with back-end ticketing, their service system, and you could get that facilitated really fast. So let's just see how that would look. So let's say I just want to report graffiti. And I'll just say bad words. And then from here, I can upload a picture. So again, consider that this would probably be a use case where you do have your phone, you're out and about, maybe even driving into work, you saw this graffiti, you took a picture of it, you uploaded it, chatbot will get it right into the system. And then also having the feature that I can share my location. So very quickly, I can share the graffiti, share my location, gets into the system, and one might expect then that that graffiti will be removed fairly quickly. Again, instead of having this conversation on the phone, you're trying to report something, it's just going to take more time than what I just demonstrated in about 30 seconds. Let's say I also want to report a parking violation. So just simply state what you're reporting. I'll say it's double parked. Someone parked me in. How dare they? Again, I can use my phone, my camera. In this case, I'm just going to upload a picture that I have. Share that picture. Again, send my location. And again, very quickly, I have it into their system, the city's system, whatever that might be in the back end, to facilitate these requests to get that person ticketed, take care of it so I can actually get out of my spot and go about my day. So utility services is one use case, kind of city services around citizen engagement and reporting violations. Another use case I wanted to share is this idea of a campus bot. So if you think back to when you were applying to college, a lot of it probably was through mail or phone calls were made to get the necessary information, a lot of downloading from a college's website, what have you. So the thing I want to mention here too is if you're not sure what to do with a chatbot, if you're not sure what actually it can facilitate for you, you can always just usually start by saying help. So in this case, I could be a current student. Maybe I just got accepted. I could take a look at the courses I've registered for. I could look at what my outstanding charges are from a finances perspective. In this case, let's share the example of, hey, I'm really interested in your college. I just want to apply. How do I do that? So let's click on admission. This is some of the features of the chatbot as well as the exposing of these UI elements, these buttons, if you will. So I simply type admission, and it says you want to start an application for next academic period. Yes, I do. Yes, I'm Jason. I'm going to enter my address here. Little confirmation dialog. I also do want to apply for financial aid. Yes, thank you. And that's some of what's built up into the chatbot, some of that learning that it does, is if you want to apply to the college, well, then it obviously contextually makes sense that you would at least want to consider financial aid. So yes, I do want to consider that. And then the chatbot would provide to you any other relevant information you would need to apply for that financial aid. So again, very quickly, I can use the chatbot to facilitate some of my requests, applying to the college, getting financial aid information, going about my day. Again, very quickly, within less than a minute, you have that information you need to do that. The last Facebook chatbot that I wanted to share is, again, around this services type chatbot or use case experience where I want to have my garbage picked up. Let's say I just moved and I want to sign up for the service. So let's start there. So sign up for service. And I'll pin my location, get that into the system. So did that, now I'm registered. Okay, so I'm registered, but I really want to understand as a new homeowner, what are my charges going to be? Okay, so for the various bins, one could be for recycling, one for refuse, and maybe one for yard waste. Those are going to be the charges for each of those. And then I could, at any time, cancel my service. So again, I think everyone's understanding these are all engagements that typically would happen over the phone or through email that could take some time, minutes, hours, days, if you will. And instead, you're able to save time, your time, as well as from an organization perspective, you're not tying up resources on the human resources to facilitate these simple requests. All right, again, just wanted to show some examples of chatbots that have been deployed using Facebook. There's a lot of different use cases that you could consider, but a lot of the popular ones that as I just showed you, really that customer service function, a very simple request that I can use the chatbot to help me with. So let's really dig in now and really get to the root of some of these customer service business problems that are out there. So I started with, and we started talking about, customer service within an organization. A lot of experiences that people have with customer service. I'm sure you've all had them. You've talked to people that have had them. A lot of times it's usually the response or the feedback is it was poor customer service for whatever reason, long wait times, whatever it might be. But then, as I mentioned also, the organizational perspective on that is, we can only resource so many people or have the amount of resources necessary to support this amount of staff and infrastructure. And so with that comes a high cost. So that's more the external use case of organizations wanting to facilitate customer requests and support their customers. But as I mentioned as well, there's also these internal use cases, and those are within an organization, employees, or within schools, staff, whatever it might be. They're going to have requests as well, and a lot of times they're just looking to find information. Where can I get this document, or how can I look up this piece of information? And a lot of times that's facilitated as well by making a call to the help desk. So how can a chatbot help with that as well? And so we'll look at the problems there and how a chatbot can help. As well as this notion on the HR side of better onboarding and engaging employees. So this notion of a employee virtual assistant, where new employees can start and their chatbot can be used to, again, a lot of that FAQ information. Where do I find my benefits and stuff like that? How do I sign up for the 401k? As well as so they've gone through their onboarding process, how many weeks or months that might be. How does the chatbot engage that employee going forward? So periodically, every 3 months or so, they're providing them with other information, checking in, making sure that they've gone through training, the necessary trainings, and so on and so forth. So let's start with the one that is the most popular, and that's really this customer service use case. And I think, as I mentioned, everyone can understand that if you're a big organization, you have thousands of people calling in, you have to set up the infrastructure and have the people to support that. And so that comes with a cost. So depending on the industry, that transaction, that actual cost of that phone interaction, there's some research from Aspect Software that suggests that's going to be about $35 to $50 per interaction. So it's not only that cost that is a concern for this use case, it's also that if you consider the people that are working at that call center, it's a very high stress job. They're trying to make decisions. It's hard for them to take a call, put the user on hold, go to someone else to get more information, and then come back. That just causes dissonance in the conversation, leads to that end user frustration. So there's a high turnover rate for call centers as well. So within a year, most new call center reps, 30 to 45% of them will leave and go on to another position. And if you consider that those reps have been trained, they've gone through some training, there's been an investment made, they leave to replace those, again with industry data suggesting it costs about $10,000 to $15,000 to replace them. And then there's also this notion of if you're not satisfied with your customer service interaction, you're trying to get support, whatever it might be, if you're unsatisfied with that, 91% of those customers say they will not return. They may not say anything, they might not file a complaint or anything like that, they just simply won't come back. But it doesn't really stop there. It continues to compound from the sense that you're probably going to tell your friends or your family, and so that organization loses out on potential business down the road from that poor customer experience. So a chatbot can help with this. I showed some examples of where that could be used for those simple requests. You don't want to get in this phone line queue. You just want to get some information. Chatbot could answer more of those FAQ type questions. Then organizations can take some of those people that work in the call center, those employees that are in the call center, and really have them focus on more value add tasks. And part of that could be, as you're taking customer requests, providing them with information about new products or services you offer. That could be, for example, you have a current subscription, whatever it might be, or you have a current service agreement and look to get that customer to another service agreement or product, if you will, and actually make a little bit more money because the customer is getting a little bit more from the service. They've upgraded, if you will, and then the organization would make more money from that. But it's really going to improve the quality and overall feedback and timeliness with when these customer requests come in, the ability of the chatbot, because it's on 24/7, to provide more of that information directly back to the customer regardless of time of day. And then we're also going to talk about how a chatbot could be used to replace an IVR system. So this, I'm sure we're all familiar with them. You call in, you get prompted, it's automated, but it's very linear. It's this experience. So you call in, you hear music, you hear more music, make a numeric choice, make one more choice, you hear more music. So 30 seconds in and you haven't even talked to anybody yet. You haven't done anything. You've made a couple prompts, you hope that you're further along in the process. Hear more music, then you hear the dreaded, all agents are busy. So now you're on hold. Hold the line, hear more music. So 1 minute and 20 seconds in, you haven't really done anything. And this could be, again, for something very simple. So as you consider, and even if the organization says, well, I already have this IVR system in place, this automated telephony system in place, I should be good. Well, most of the people, and I'm sure we all are familiar with this, is that we find those systems very annoying. So that means that if there was another channel, most people would use it. That could be even live agent chat. But if there was that other channel available just to help facilitate some of the customer service requests we have, we would use that. And 44% say, or 44% of organizations have already moved to more of this live chat, just to make sure that, as they look at other channels to support, and as they know, and the industry data suggests, people would rather have this chat conversation through an interface than actually have to talk to someone on the phone. So this is a very visceral experience. Obviously, a lot of frustration, but as you consider how chatbots can help, organizations are starting to realize that a lot of that service requests that are coming in could be deflected to a chatbot. So I wanted to share quickly kind of a high level of some of those use cases where we're seeing chatbots being deployed and what we've and Oracle are helping organizations roll out chatbots. Banking and finance is just one area where you can look up balances, transfer money. Product support, obviously, another popular area where you could submit tickets for, if you're an organization using a software product and you have a problem with it, you could submit a ticket. You could also check on that ticket status. General customer service, so request service. I showed the example with utilities. It could also be cable, something like that, where you're working with an organization just to get service for your location or make a service appointment, whatever it might be. You could also use it maybe on the website. Customers purchase a product from you, they just want to check on their warranty. You can provide some information, see what their warranty is for that product. An insurance company, for example, could use it on their website to find a dealer or provider or broker. But a lot of it just comes down to, across organizations, just the ability for customers to view and update account details. This could be payment information, address information, what have you, and just do it very quickly and facilitate that more of account management. But the power of the chatbots are really in the integration, so making it more contextual, that conversation. So what other information can be pulled from back-end data systems to get more information to the customer to help them make a choice or have better understanding of what their service agreement is or what products they own. And so we've built out integrations with Oracle Service Cloud, Zendesk as a support ticketing system, and then that voice integration, as I mentioned, with that interactive voice recognition system. We've done that with Twilio. So instead of that automated telephony system, you could use a chatbot integrated with a system like Twilio to support more of that conversational dialogue. So I wanted to share a customer example or success story with this, and this is the University of Adelaide down in Australia. So the use case and business problem here was one really of 12. So basically, when people would want to apply, they have to find out, or 12-year students basically. So in the States, it'd be your senior year, junior or senior year, you want to apply to a college. Well, at the University of Adelaide in Australia, part of what the students need to know is what my ATAR score is. And the ATAR score is really that score that will help them understand if they're going to be submitted into the program. And so when these scores are released, the University of Adelaide gets thousands of calls to just find out what the ATAR score is. And there could be actually some bonus points that the students might receive, so they want to find that out as well. But that's really about it, just what my ATAR score is. And so with a limited support staff and call center, the university just wasn't able to handle this amount of volume. Also considering that a lot of these requests would not only, someone might try the phone, but then they're also going to send an email, and there was this backup of email. So really a bad customer experience just to find out, again, what the ATAR score was for the student. So the University of Adelaide rolled out the Oracle Autonomous Mobile Cloud with the intelligent chatbot feature, and within a very short amount of time, they were able to get this deployed before that next round of ATAR score releases. And what they've already seen is 47% reduction in calls to the help desk. Whereas if you look at, again, and as I mentioned, a lot of the students just want to know the ATAR score, 93% of the inquiries can be handled by the bot. But then the big one there is, again, with the limited staff, some of that wait time was up to 40 minutes. They've been able to reduce that down to 90. And it's integrated in a very familiar interface through Facebook. They've had a lot of uptake on people actually using it, and most of the people that have used it have said it's been awesome. So this is just one example from a customer service perspective how a chatbot could help. Wanted to also share an ROI calculator that we helped a customer put together. Now consider that this customer is more in a high-tech manufacturing space, so their customer engagement, service engagements are going to be a little bit higher cost and higher value because there's very specific information around their products. But if you consider that even at $6 per call, that's what they would be saving, and if they're able to just handle 30% of the calls, deflect those to the chatbot, this organization, if they consider their cost per call, stands to save about $760,000. So obviously results are going to vary, but I think we all can understand if there's not as much support staff that need to be, in an actual chair, and you don't need this big infrastructure, and you don't have this potential loss of business because of a customer service perspective, a chatbot can really help build up the ROI from a customer service perspective. So I also wanted to share, as I mentioned, the other use cases for customer service could be internal. So one example of that is just the business and employee process inefficiencies. So within an organization, there's various business systems that you're trying to get information out of. A lot of the tasks that you might be doing are very manual to get reports out of systems and things like that. So there's a lot of bottlenecks. And, So there's just that frustration where, again, if you're not able to get an answer, you might send an email to someone or actually make a phone call to the help desk. So the chatbot, kind of as this assistant, could provide a very familiar interface to get questions that employees have answered, really provide that level of help needed. So for example, there might be reports that get run every week. The chatbot could actually be programmed to run those reports weekly for you and just have them ready for you and really complete those tasks without any other further human involvement. So really empowering the user with information so they can make decisions for themselves. So we've built out chatbots here as well. We've built out chatbots for product pricing and availability. So within organizations, sales rep, for example, they're talking to a customer, they can very quickly get pricing information for their customer. It could be very customer-specific pricing information. Again, not having to call the help desk to try to get that information or logging into their ERP system. And again, we've made integrations here, and I'll show you an example of that. We've integrated with Oracle E-Business Suite, Salesforce, and others. The other one I wanted to mention was construction project management. So consider you're a project manager, on a construction site, and you could, for example, just start off by wondering what the weather is in a certain location where another construction project is going to take place. You could look up drawings for the project. You could get content uploaded into the system. You could update your journal. There's a lot of things that the chatbot can really help you facilitate that, again, you're not taking the time to, as you're walking around the job site, you're disconnected, then you have to go back to the trailer, get your laptop out, connect to the systems and do all that stuff. The chatbot can really help you facilitate that more quickly. And again, we've made integrations there. Procore is a third-party project management system for construction, as well as the Oracle Primavera system. Another one that we built out is for sales enablement. So if you're a sales rep and you're looking to get information, as I mentioned, for pricing, as well as find contacts at accounts, update leads and opportunities. If you're a manager on the sales side and you want to get forecasts and pipeline data, you can do that as well. And again, building out those integrations, that's really the power of these chatbots, bring other data from those back-end systems forward. And we've done that with Oracle applications as well as Salesforce. The other use case I wanted to mention was this notion of poor onboarding and engagement, where I'm sure we all can remember when we started at a company, depending on what you were given, some of you might gotten a bunch of attachments within an email or said, here's a link to the website, go check it out. You're just kind of, almost like you have to find a lot about working for an organization in your role out by yourself. So a chatbot could really help you with that onboarding process, and just by first interacting with you, saying, here are the things that I'm going to help you with over your first month or 2 months or 3 months, kind of checking in on you and seeing, if some of those tasks have been completed, as well as providing more information to you. So as you go about your role in your career, making sure that you have, viewed other opportunities that might be available, other resources from a training perspective that might be available, and really just being that assistant to really help you do the best job you can by making sure you have the information you need to do that job. So again, this is the notion of an FAQ, where a lot of the questions that new hires or employees that have been in there for a while are going to have that those FAQs, those frequently asked questions, can be developed and built in within the chatbot. So a lot of those common questions are being answered, and the chatbot can be used to facilitate those. I did want to mention that this interactive voice response, I think it's important to understand that, most companies are probably going to have something like this in place depending on their volume, but it's also important to understand that these are very linear in nature. So you get prompted, let's say you want to cancel your service, you get to a certain point and, you find out that, you have to hold the line, but let's say that, you want to talk to an agent and because you may be thinking, well, if I decide to cancel, maybe they'll give me a better rate or something like that. Well, a lot of times you have to go all the way back to the beginning of that dialogue, of that flow, before you actually can talk to someone to do that. Whereas the chatbot is going to be very contextual in nature. So it can just really understand the intent of the question. So even if you're looking to cancel your service, you could then say, talk to an agent. It gets you over to an agent very quickly, instead of having this back to step one before you're able to get into that, to get to that next step and getting your question answered for that, or ask about, a new service or new cost that you're maybe trying to get from the organization you're working with. As well as if you consider that a lot of organizations will say, well, most of the information that I think my customers or employees need is on my website. And that actually probably is the case. But if you consider that the navigation necessary, the searching and finding, the downloading of PDFs, it just takes a lot of time. It can lead to frustration as well. So we've seen organizations that have deployed chatbots on their website, and they'll use those chatbots to, again, answer those questions, those FAQs, if you will. But also, if more information is needed, they could direct the person that's asking the questions to the section on the website where they can find that more information. So I think it's also important to understand and kind of really know that Oracle's a leader in this space. So just in over a year's time, they've really taken their platform and built out a lot of really cool, unique features and incorporated technologies like machine learning and artificial intelligence into the system. And what I mentioned with the integrations is that's really a big piece of their platform, is having the integrations. And that's one of the value-add services that Fishbowl provides, is taking the platform and integrating with those back-end systems to bring more of that information forward. So this system, the Autonomous Mobile Cloud, lets you build chatbots that really help you engage in those natural conversations with the business. As I mentioned, deploy on websites, mobile apps, messaging apps, digital voice assistants. Really can enhance the functionality of your back-end system, delivering that personalized and engaging experience. So you can create more of this natural conversation, this user interface, if you will, through text or speech to all your enterprise systems, and incorporating some of that artificial intelligence and machine learning with natural language processing to really be more human-like and help, again, your customers, your prospects, and your employees get their questions answered and have this dialogue to get more information. And they're already a leader in this space, so it's also important to understand as they release their platform and have more capabilities, they're Ovum, Forrester, Gartner, they've all said that the chatbot development platform offers this low-code development platform with back-end integrations to really provide this next level of the conversational user interface for organizations. So where does Fishbowl fit in? As an Oracle partner for many years, we've been integrating their Autonomous Mobile Cloud platform. We've built our framework is called Atlas to really build out more purpose-built chatbots. But with our goal is really to help customers solve their costly and frustrating knowledge sharing problems. So we've worked with Oracle Technologies for content management portal. This next level, kind of where the customers are going, is this notion of the conversational user interface, deploying those again, as we shared, Facebook, mobile, portal sites. We've really invested heavily in the chatbot development, really developing those purpose-built chatbots for those specific use cases. And as we consider ourselves Oracle's chatbot partner, we're kind of partnering to bring that to customers today. So some of the capabilities that we offer on top of what's available through Oracle, we're going to provide that multiple chatbot UI support. So I showed Facebook. You could also deploy this through Slack. And on your website or portal, you could have integrated location sharing or geolocation. You can store user info. There is analytics through the Oracle Intelligent Chatbots, but if you're looking to work with a third party, we have third-party analytics built out for that as well. And really providing just a little bit more of what's capable out of the box through the various interfaces and backend integrations for the chatbots. So I mentioned, and again, this is just chatbot through a website. I mentioned the use case around finding pricing information. So if I want to look up the price of a product, quickly do that, get the price for that, and then say what is the availability. I see that it's available, so then I can order. So this could be, I'm a sales rep, right, talking to a customer. They want to order the parts. I can do that right as I'm talking to them. I want 10. And then I can say, ship them from Seattle as close as possible to the customer and ship them to Fishbowl. Little confirmation, and we're done. The other one I wanted to share quickly with you is this HR bot. So I could start here by saying, just help, what can I actually accomplish with this chatbot? And for example, as a new employee, I just want to read the handbook. So where is that located? Gives me a link there. Let's say I want to request vacation. I can do that as well. We'll say today. So again, this chatbot could be integrated with the back-end HR system, whatever that might be, so that your PTO request goes into the system and you will have PTO scheduled. The other one I wanted to show you quickly was this banking bot. So another example, as you consider yourself working with banks or for a financial organization, you could get a chatbot on your website, and I can always start with help again. What are my capabilities? And let's say I want to check my balance or transfer money. So let's check the balance of my savings. Very quickly, you can do that. You can transfer money. Transfer money to savings from checking. Type that correctly. And we'll say $500. So again, just some examples of chatbots deployed on a website for looking up pricing information, so you're avoiding the help desk getting pricing information for customer. For HR, so an internal chatbot where you're a new employee or an existing employee looking for more information. And then on the financial services side, this notion of transacting or looking up information regarding the accounts that you have with a financial institution. But I wanted everyone to understand from a partnership perspective how Oracle and Fishbowl really integrate, and that's will be displayed here. So really what we tell customers is think about the interface or the channel that you want to deploy your chatbot. That could be a collaboration system like Slack, it could be Facebook, it could be on the website like I just showed through a mobile phone. Our Atlas framework gets deployed to a Node.js server, and from there we build out the integrations as well as the entities, the utterances, and the intents of what we feel that the chatbot will help customers get answers to or help facilitate, and then we look to integrate those with the back-end systems to pour more of that information forward, both on the Oracle application side and the third-party side, so Salesforce and Zendesk, as I mentioned, and then serve that up through whatever channel that you want that delivered to. In terms of what you could expect in rolling out a service-based chatbot, what we tell customers there is really think about your use case or pain point. Whatever you're looking to try to solve within your organization from a customer service perspective. Make a case for a POC to help solve that problem. A lot of customers start kind of just dip their toe in the water. They maybe just have a couple entities that they want answered or to work from to make it very simple. We've worked with customers that you just want to track packages or understand where or how to make a return, even changing their password. So you make a case for that POC, you select the channel that you want to deploy it to, any backend data systems that you want to integrate. You launch your POC, you collect some of that feedback as users are using the chatbot, you get some of that analytics, you present your findings, and within about 2 months you can launch your service bot. So we've seen this pretty consistently across the customers we've. So we look to wrap up here as you consider the use cases for your chatbot, and as you consider the technology that you'll be deploying. Oracle and Fishbowl have really partnered to bring some of those chatbots to market. With first off, the leading Oracle mobile cloud service, their autonomous mobile cloud. As I mentioned, it's one of the leading chatbot development platforms as well as mobile applications. Fishbowl has partnered with Oracle to provide this jumpstart framework, if you will, with some of those integrations and other capabilities out of the box with the chatbots. And then also consider that, you know, a lot of organizations have already built this out. I shared a few examples already, but there's use cases across industries. And as you consider the example I shared there, in about 2 months, you could have a chatbot deployed. So as far as next steps, think about your greatest pain, opportunity, use case within your organization. You can follow up with Fishbowl and Oracle to discuss that further, and we can have a deeper conversation with you around your use case and the problems you're looking to solve and tell you kind of what's possible. Consider a POC for that use case.